Hey everyone, thanks for coming back to another segment of Michigan Conservative Roundtable. Mac is to my left in this one. My name is TJ. Please like, share, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. As Mac and I were ranting politics, and believe me, we are prone to these rantings, he brought up the fairy tale titled The Emperor's New Clothes. And it is a short fairy tale written by Hans Christian Andersen, Danish author, in, and let me get this year correct, 1837.
Long time ago.
The short version is, and by all means, feel free to read, it's not a long fairy tale. The short version is, you have a vain emperor, and he's never content with the clothes his tailor makes him.
Never satisfied.
And he keeps bugging his tailor for something better, something better. The frustrated tailor, reaching the pinnacle of frustration, pretends to make him the most outlandish outfit known to man. To even include, and I always remember my teacher reenacting this. He pretends to be sewing. And he says, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm making your outfit." You know? And the emperor sees nothing, but doesn't want to admit he sees nothing. Okay? The bottom line is, the tailor, frustrated tailor, presents him with nothing, but pretends it is the best, most recent outfit to be worn.
One of a kind.
And the emperor's vanity prevents him from acknowledging the obvious. And of course, the yes men that the emperor surrounds himself with, because they are yes men, they don't want to acknowledge the obvious. And towards the end, I believe it's a young boy says, "Hey, you got nothing on."
Yeah.
And I am going to read the last paragraph of this fairy tale. The last paragraph reads, "The emperor shivered, for he suspected they were right. But he thought, this procession has got to go on. So he walked more proudly than ever, as his noblemen held the train that wasn't there at all." Held high the train that wasn't there at all. Basically, at the end, they all knew. But their vanity kept them from acknowledging the obvious.
We're going to make the point on how this relates to today. And today it's not so much vanity as it is those who desire to appear virtuous. I guess there's a vanity in that, I
was going to say the Democrats' vanity.
Yeah, the Democrat vanity. So we're all going to pretend that the woman is a man and the man is a woman, and it's that men can have babies. There's a whole litany, that's one of my favorite words,
yes,
TJ would like to say, a litany of examples we can give you, but this video can only be so long.
We're just going to pretend.
We're just going to pretend that the police are out hunting black men. Now, how do we know that isn't happening? Well, there are approximately 1 million law enforcement officers in this country, and a couple of years ago, 9 black men were killed. Well, that would make the law enforcement people some pretty damn poor hunters if 1 million of them could only find 9 criminals, black criminals, to kill.
And it's just one of these things where, and you go back to the fairy tale, how the emperor's yes men were afraid to call out the obvious.
Right.
So it goes just beyond the emperor's vanity.
They're afraid to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And when we get into a situation in our society or in time where we're afraid to tell the truth, I heard a commercial, and I'm significantly overweight, obese you would say, medically, and I heard a commercial that says, "Hey, if you're a fat ass, it's not your fault. It's this other person's fault." When I said to myself as I'm driving the car, they say, "It's not your fault." I said, "The hell it isn't."
And I'm going to keep going back to this fairy tale. The last sentence pretty much indicates everyone knows, but everyone's still going to pretend.
And that's where I see us
And that's where we're at today politically.
Let's all pretend masks do anything.
Yeah, let's just pretend.
And
because it makes us feel better.
Yeah, we feel protected. We might as well, have a Post-it note on our back saying safe.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything. But we're all going to pretend that it does, and we all know that it doesn't, which is how it relates to this story specifically.
And, you think that this thing was written 1837?
Yeah, almost 200 years ago. So
and
it was
still
true then.
Applies today.
And it still applies. You have any other examples of how this goes on?
No, but...
Well, we're all going to pretend Joe Biden won the election. That Joe Biden got 80 million votes when he couldn't win a primary other than, what was it, South Carolina? His running mate couldn't get above 3% in the polls.
His running mate was the first one to get out of the primary.
Yeah, so we're all going to believe they got 80 million votes, and anybody's excited about her becoming president of the United States. We're all going to pretend that Joe Biden isn't suffering a mental crisis. He can't finish a sentence. He doesn't know where he's at. He gets angry at the drop of a dime. And the media sits there and they all pretend everything's great.
Oh, and if I'm not mistaken, he did like to parade around in his pretend attire.
Yeah, he did.
In front of the female Secret Service.
Let's pretend that he has an inappropriate affinity towards children and touching them inappropriately. Let's all pretend we don't see those videos and allegedly elect this man president of the United States.
So we're going to wrap it up. And at this point, I suspect only our diehard subscribers are watching at this time. And I'll share with you our diehard subscribers. This was a segment that we worked up on the fly because in our rants, I do believe Mac mentioned this fairy tale. And as we talked about it, I said, oh, we got to make this into a segment, man.
And if you don't subscribe, if you're a new subscriber and you've hung with it this long, we will throw out this threat. We will wear the Emperor's clothes in our next video if you don't subscribe today.
So that's all we got. And thanks to our loyal subscribers who are only watching right now. Thanks a lot, everyone. Maybe we'll try to come up with something else down the road here. And that's it. As we always end with, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.